On NBC's Meet the Press this past Sunday, host Kristen Welker had the opportunity to interview Republican Senator Tim Scott. Now, you probably last remember Republican Senator Tim Scott as one of the people running for president on the Republican side last year. He, of course, was forced to drop out because he didn't have any support whatsoever, but he immediately threw his support behind Donald Trump and is now widely considered by many, especially with Kristi Noem killing her own career in the gravel pit. He is pretty much the front runner to be Donald Trump's running mate this year. And that is, of course, one of the reasons they brought him on. But host Kristen Welker decided she wanted to ask him a very simple question. Will you accept the results of the 2024 election? It is a simple yes or no question. But it is a simple yes or no question that Welker had to ask him 6 times. And all 6 times, Republican Senator Tim Scott refused to say, yes, I will accept the results of the 2024 election. Let me read you this exchange between the two. You voted to certify the election results of 2020, Kristen Welker said. It's the exact opposite of what you said and did after 2020. Why would you want to be on a ticket with someone where there's such a fundamental difference? And Scott responded, President Trump himself said he expects this election to be fair, he expects it to be honest, and he expects to win. That's what the presidential candidate should expect, and I expect the exact same thing, and frankly, the American people agree with him. So Welker then asks, will you commit to accepting the election results of 2024, bottom line? Scott responded, at the end of the day, the 47th president of the United States will be President Donald Trump. Wait, Senator, yes or no? Will you accept the election results of 2024 no matter who wins? That is my statement, he responded. Just yes or no, will you accept the election results of 2024? Welker pressed. I look forward to President Trump being the 47th president. Kristen, you can ask him multiple times. Sir, just a yes or no answer, she interrupts. The American people will make the decision, and the decision will be for President Trump. I don't hear you committing to the election results, she said. Will you commit to the election results? And then Scott got a little mad and he said, this is why so many Americans believe that NBC is an extension of the Democrat Party. At the end of the day, I've said what I've said, and I know that the American people, their voices will be heard, and I believe that President Trump will be our next president. She then asked him one more time, and he responded, the hallmark of our democracy... Oh, I'm sorry, that's not her. That's not his statement. That is her statement. That is her asking him the question, and again, he declined. Either way. 6 times this jackass was asked, will you accept the election results? And 6 times he dodged the question. This is what Republicans are doing. They are setting this up to pretend that there is fraud where fraud does not exist, to prep Donald Trump's base to do something horrible. That is what this is about. At the end of the day, that is why they will not go ahead and commit to accepting the 2024 election results. Every single one of them knows that 2020 was fair, and they know that there is no indication that we're going to have any kind of fraud that's going to change the outcome of this year's election either. Nevertheless, they are doing this, they are pushing this, they are refusing to go ahead and accept it, because when things don't go their way, they now have that avenue to once again claim fraud because the American people rejected them. And we all know how it ended last time. And for the record there, Tim Scott, you may want to be paying attention too in case you do become Trump's running mate, right? Because look at all of the people who were involved with Donald Trump's attempts to, get the fake electors and all that. They're all getting indicted. So maybe you ought to soften your tone on this a little bit. Otherwise, if you lump yourself in with Trump and he asks you to do something, illegal, you may end up being the next one indicted after all is said and done. So tread carefully on this, because Trump doesn't care whose life he destroys as long as it makes him look better. Well, folks, we have crossed that 1 million subscriber milestone, but rest assured, we are just getting started here at Ring of Fire. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel and make sure to like, share, and comment on the videos.